No one expects the death of Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar to put much of a dent in the world cocaine trade. But as Diana Gonzalez reports, it does put an end to one of the bloodiest criminal careers in history.
The lifeless body of the former king of cocaine placed on a stretcher. After a 16-month-long manhunt, Pablo Escobar was gunned down on the rooftop of the home where his drug empire was based. He was the leader of the Medellín cartel and one of the most wanted men in the world.
I think there's some rough justice in the idea that he was shot down in the streets like a dog.
Escobar was once the world's largest exporter of cocaine. He was also notorious for killing anyone who posed a threat to his overwhelming power and riches. He was blamed for the deaths of hundreds of people, including 3 Colombian presidential candidates who were outspoken enemies of the infamous cartels.
It certainly was an important message and an important coup from the Colombian government.
The United States had been trying to nab Escobar for years. After being assured he would not be extradited to face drug charges here, he turned himself in to Colombian authorities in 1991. A luxurious prison was built for him outside Medellín, but when the government decided to move him, he escaped in July of last year. Now his reign of terror is over.
I am pleased that Pablo Escobar is no longer going to be involved in drug trafficking, which so profoundly affected the United States.
But his death is not expected to affect the continuous flow of cocaine to the U.S. Diana Gonzalez, CBS News, Miami.
Coming up after the news, in the aftermath of Escobar's death, we'll talk with Colombia's ambassador to the U.S. and a congressman who's leading the anti-drug fight.
The killing of Colombian cocaine kingpin Pablo Escobar is likely to have repercussions far beyond the underworld he ruled. We want to talk about that now with Colombia's ambassador to the United States, Gabriel Silva, who is in Washington this morning, and here in New York, Congressman Charles Rangel, who heads the Congressional Anti-Drug Caucus. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Let me ask you first, Congressman, what is this killing of Pablo Escobar mean?
I think it shows the courage of the Colombian people to stick to it, to not give up against one of the most vicious and ruthless terrorists that we've probably ever seen. This man has been directly responsible for the killing of presidential candidates, attorney generals, judges, newspaper publishers, and thousands of innocent people, and it meant they've kept the course. I mean, that is really warriors against drugs, not like we're doing in the United States.
We'll get to that in a second. Mr. Ambassador, what is the feeling in your country with Escobar dead?
Well, it's a major victory of democracy. It's a major victory of firmness. We believe that this is the result of the courage, as Mr. Rangel said, of a people and a government.
However, there are so many more waiting to take his place. He has so many rivals. Those drug lords have so much power. Some people have suggested just because Escobar is dead, that doesn't mean that this war against drug is anywhere close to being over.
Well, I think that that's really a very light assessment of what's happening in a drug war. In fact, drug lords received yesterday a very tough message. Or you surrender or you are killed. And that message is going to create processes that are important, will create confidence in justice, will create the certainty that the rule of law is going to prevail.
Is this really a message also to the Colombian people that the government can win this war? We have talked to journalist after journalist, intimidated, attacked, held against their will, many who have died over the years. Is this a message to the Colombian people that they can in turn begin to fight this fight as well?
Well, I think that this is not a message but a tribute to the Colombian people, because having that kind of violence, that kind of bloodshed, despite all that, they continue supporting the government in its struggle, in this war, and they continue hoping that we'll get to this. And I think this is the beginning of the end. And they know it, and we are seeing light at the end of that tunnel, and they like that, and they will continue supporting our war against drug traffickers.
Ambassador Silva is optimistic. He says this is a victory for the Colombian people. Is it a victory at all for the American people?
Well, I would first like to congratulate President Gaviria and tell the ambassador, who's my dear friend, that it does send out a message to the Colombian people that those lives were not lost in vain. But I differ in some respect. As long as we don't have a program in the United States that's going to reduce the demand and the consumption, then if it's not Escobar, it's somebody else. And we have to help Colombia and Peru and Bolivia by having a national strategy. As long as our kids are so hopeless that they go in the street, there are thousands of American lives that's being lost every day around our country. So it's like the Jimmy Cagney of Colombia has been shot dead. We all feel good because it was courageous policemen that went out there. But you need to reduce the demand as well as the supply in order to win.
Mr. Ambassador, can you tell us anything about the circumstances of Escobar's death? We knew that he was a fugitive from justice. We know that some phone calls he had made made it more possible for the authorities to track him down. Did they go in with the purpose of capturing him, or did they just feel like as long as he was available, we might as well put him out of his misery?
Well, first of all, I must tell that in Colombia, we fight a war against drug lords and drug traffickers under the rule of law. So we really don't plan to kill him or to
assassinate him.
Yes, exactly. But he opposed and resisted arrest very strongly. He tried to flee and fire back to our policemen, who are very brave policemen, and they had the order to defend themselves, as is the case in the States. And they did that. They defended lives, and they defended their mission, and they achieved the result.
Finally, Congressman Rangel, if you were the drug czar tomorrow, what would be the first thing you'd do?
There's no first thing. First, I will tell everybody in the cabinet that we got to start making certain our kids don't drop out of school, and those that make mistakes, that we have treatment, they'll have job training, they'll have opportunity, and that they will have more hope so that they wouldn't have to depend on drugs in order to survive.
Your message is the best way to get rid of the future Pablo Escobars is to reduce the demand.
There's no question about that.
Congressman, thank you. Mr. Ambassador, do appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much.